Welcome to Raider Talks. I am your host, Art Navarrete, here alongside Art Navarrete Sr. We're here following day one of on-field activities for the NFL Combine. Today we had the quarterbacks, tight ends, and wide receivers. How did you feel after day one?
It was fun, man. It was a lot of fun. Being Raider fans, we know that wide receiver is one of our biggest needs, and there's a lot of good wide receivers. So it was a lot of fun watching these guys today.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think, like you said, the Raider show. So we're definitely focusing on wide receivers the most.
Right.
And I thought there was a lot of talented wide receivers out there today. I feel pretty good about our first couple round draft picks getting a good wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, when you have this many talented wide receivers, even if you don't go wide receiver first round, second round, third round, fourth round, there's going to be some guys that are going to be some steals out there for you.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of guys. So group one of the wide receivers, kind of slower times,
right.
But group two, they're flying.
They're very impressive.
They're flying.
Very impressive. It seemed like every guy that stepped up on that 40-yard dash was trying to outdo the previous guy.
Yeah.
And they were flying.
Bigger dudes, too.
Oh, yeah. Even
bigger guys.
There were some guys that surprised me that I expected them to run well, but not this well.
Yeah, like Alec Pierce from Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah, I expected.
Bigger dude. How tall is he?
He's about 6'4".
About 6'4".
Yeah.
Ran a
6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, ran a 4.3, 340.
Yeah. So he's a guy that I thought if he ran a 4.5, that would be great for him.
Yeah.
And the time that he actually got was
unbelievable.
It was pretty impressive. And same with Christian Watson from North Dakota State.
Yeah, 4.36.
Same thing. I expected him to be high 4.4s, maybe 4.5, and for him to get into 4.3s was impressive.
Yeah, pretty impressive. A lot of wide receivers impressed me today. Who were some of your top guys today?
So the top wide receivers, I kind of felt like, some of the top receivers I felt were Christian Watson. I thought Alec Pierce was solid. Olave got that second group off to, he ran a 4.3,
4.39.
Yeah, he looked good.
Unofficial time was a 4.28.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And then it went all the way up to a 4.39 for Chris Olave.
Yeah, that was crazy. So he started it off good. I think there was a kid from the first group. Where was he from? Like Western Michigan or something like that. He had a pretty
Sky Moore.
Yeah, Sky Moore. He was pretty solid all day.
Yeah, 4.41, but he had good hands.
Yeah, he looked
great
smooth.
at the gauntlet.
He looked smooth.
Deep balls, he was catching them good.
He was catching everything. So the 40s, that's exciting. But then you also want to see them on the field. You know what I mean? How do they run routes? How do they cut? How do they have soft hands? And some of these wide receivers stood out more than others.
Yeah, for sure. I would say group one, the wide receivers weren't as fast, but I think they did better in the gauntlet and catching the ball. Group two was way faster,
right?
But I didn't think they're catching the ball as great as group one, personally.
Yeah, that's a good observation because I noticed that too. They weren't as fast, but they did seem like they had better hands and they were a lot smoother.
But you can't teach speed.
No,
you can teach a guy to catch.
Speed.
Teach a guy to catch.
Yeah.
But speed.
Yeah,
can't teach that
speed. Especially, that's an element that the Raiders are missing right now. So we're always looking for speed right now.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about one of the first wide receivers. Ran a crazy time unofficially.
Right.
4.21.
Right.
Tae Kwon Thornton from Baylor ended up being a 4.28 after for the official time.
Right.
Unofficial is 4.21. Everyone was going crazy.
Right. So he's a guy that I love to scout, and watch tape on these guys. And he's somebody that I haven't watched too much tape on. But after you see somebody run that fast, now you got to go back to the film and see, like, okay, how good is this guy really? And does he play that fast? Some guys can run fast on the 40.
For example, Okunwa, how you say his name? Okonkwo from Maryland, tight end, ran a 4.52.
Right.
But I think he was one of the slower tight ends out there.
On the drills, he didn't look fast at all.
Yeah, the drills, he's one of the slower tight ends. And I think we'll talk about him more later, but I think he's one of the losers from the day. I thought he could have really lifted his draft stock, maybe even been the number one tight end to come out of this draft because of how fast he was, and he's big.
Yeah.
But doing the gauntlet, catching the ball, he just looked slow.
Yeah, he looked he looked awkward. You know what I mean? He looked uncoordinated. He just didn't play as fast as he ran.
Yeah, for sure. And some of these wide receivers, I think, kind of the same thing about.
Yeah, you can tell. And one of the other wide receivers that kind of stood out to me who had a pretty solid day was a kid from South Alabama. I think his last name is Tolbert.
Yep.
Decent size. Like, he's 6'1".
Jalen Tolbert ran a 4.49.
Right. He's 6'1", but on the field, he looked bigger than that. Like, he looked like
he plays big.
Yeah, he plays big. He kind of stood out to me too.
Yeah, for sure. I thought he had a good day. Tolbert, he did good in the gauntlet, catching everything.
Yeah.
Good hands.
Yep.
There are some of these guys who ran, I'm gonna keep saying it. Some guys ran lower times.
Right.
Hands weren't that good.
Right.
But some of these guys who ran the mid times were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It could be good.
Yeah.
It's still a good time.
Right.
I mean, anything above a 4.3 looked slow in the second group, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, but those in between guys I thought did really good.
Right.
Not the slowest guys, not the fastest guys, but was in between in the middle of the second, especially the second wave of wide receivers. They did good.
Yeah, they all did
good hands.
And we get kind of caught up in the 40 times. We get kind of pumped up about them.
Yeah.
But I think even on the show, they talked about how, like, Cooper Kupp ran like a 4.6 something or whatever.
Another example is Devontae Adams.
Right.
He didn't run crazy fast,
No,
but he's one of the better wide receivers in football.
He's not running a 4.2.
Yeah.
But he's one of the better receivers in football. He gets a lot of separation.
Yeah.
So that's a big key. And especially, like, when I watch tape and stuff, like, I like to see what wide receivers are getting separation.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. For example, we have a guy on our team, Brian Edwards, who is really talented, bigger dude.
Right.
When he gets the ball, it looks like he can fly and move around, but he doesn't get a good separation. So that's why he don't get the ball that much.
Right. You're not going to.
You kind of harp on Carr for not giving it to him.
Right.
But has the worst separation rate according to Pro Football Focus
in
in football.
I don't know if he finished with the worst separation rate in football,
season.
But at one point he did have the worst separation rate, and according to Pro Football Focus. And if you watch his college film, he looks good. You get the ball in his hands, he makes people miss, he breaks tackles, he's good with running after the catch. But if he's not getting open, you're not going to get the ball.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about Alec Pierce. Now let's talk about Christian Watson from North Dakota State. Ran a 4.36.
Yeah. So the knock on him is obviously he's from a small school. He's put up big numbers, but against low level talent. But out here, and he's competing with all the guys that are D1. And these are like big time wide receivers.
Yep.
And he blended in and kind of stood out a little bit.
I think so too.
He had a really good day.
I think he had a pretty good day. Starting with the 40.
Yeah. I don't think he gets out of the second round.
You don't think so?
No, he doesn't get out of the second round.
Before the combine, what did you think he was?
I thought he might go in the second round, but probably a third rounder. But now after watching him today, you maybe even end of the first round. Maybe end of the first round into the second round.
So you think Christian Watson looks like a guy that could be a Raider?
Oh yeah, I think you could.
And you'll love the pick? I
think that a lot of fans would think it would be a reach just because he's not a big name guy. But me personally, I wouldn't think it was a reach. I think he's pretty good.
Well, for example, this is going to be, I don't know if I should say this, but Henry Ruggs. Mm-hmm. I think Raider fans thought that was a little bit of a reach when you had Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb ahead, who were proven. Mm-hmm. And Henry Ruggs didn't get as many touches as them, and he wasn't number one. Right. But I think Henry Ruggs was starting to be the best. And I thought, and we thought that we liked the Henry Ruggs pick.
We both. It's hard to bring up Henry Ruggs because we're big fans
because of the incident,
and everything that happened. But I was either Henry Ruggs or CeeDee Lamb. I would have been good with either one. Mm-hmm. I was probably leaning toward Henry Ruggs just because we needed that speed element, in our offense. And obviously before the incident, he was going off. He was looking like a legit number one wide receiver. Yeah. So we're gonna need that again. We need that guy.
Yeah. I see some people in the comments talking about that maybe we don't need as much speed because of the offense we're gonna be playing. Mm-hmm. But I think Carr's been better when he has those speedy guys, no matter what.
Well, I think Ziegler said it right the other day when he at the combine, and he was talking about athletes, getting great athletes, and he was talking kind of like speed and stuff. And he pretty much said it's easier to score when you can get chunk plays. Yeah. And you can get chunk plays when you have that speed. Yeah. And it's harder to get touchdowns when you have to go 10 yards every time because there's more room for error. Yes. Fumbles. Yep. Penalties. Interceptions, penalties. Yeah. And bad things can happen. And a lot of bad things happen for us. Yep. Especially when we do those types of things. Or when we go up
with a running game, or we're taking so many plays to get to red zone, something wrong happens in between that time for us.
Too many bad things can happen. So, it's cool sometimes, when you're playing games against Mahomes and stuff, they're saying like, hey, control the clock and stuff like that. Time of possession is important. But if you can hit a quick strike and put up a quick 7, that's always a plus.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about Garrett Wilson from Ohio State. How'd you feel about him today?
I thought he was just kind of
ran a 4.38.
Yeah, his 40 time was good. I wasn't sure what he was going to run. I thought he was more like in the 4.4s. So he ran a little better than I thought. But on the field workouts, he was just okay. Like, he didn't stand out.
It looked like, especially for the deep balls, he didn't look too sharp on the deep balls.
Yeah, he seemed, and I don't know if it's just that he just was unfortunate to get some bad throws too, but he just didn't look sharp. He didn't, for him being potentially the number 1 wide receiver, he did not stand out. He didn't look sharp today.
Yeah.
So, obviously this is the combine. You're still going to go
your
watch
pro day.
You still have your pro day, but you're also, scouts are going to go watch the tape. They're going to see how did you produce during the season. So he's still going to get picked high, but he didn't do anything to separate himself from the other wide receivers today.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought his 40 time was good, but then when we went to the gauntlet and we went to some slants, some out routes, and then deep balls, it didn't look as smooth.
No.
As some other guys especially.
Right.
Another guy I want to talk about, kind of a hyped up guy, Trayvon Burks from Arkansas, ran a 4.55. I think he probably needed to run below a 4.55, kind of like you mentioned earlier.
Well, I thought he was a 4.5 guy for sure. I thought he was so when he ran that 4.55, I thought that's what I saw on his tape. I thought that's what he was. Some people were kind of hyping him up like he was going to be faster. So it didn't surprise me.
Didn't we hear someone say that he wanted to run a 4.4?
A low
4.4 or a high 4.3.
He said he wanted to run in the 4.4s or a low 4.4 or a high 4.3.
Yeah. That was not going to happen.
No.
But he ran a 4.55, and I was pretty excited to watch him.
Yeah.
But it looked like he had a pretty tough day at the combine.
Yeah, I know at one point in the combine, I think it might have been Charles Davis, he said that he made himself some money today, or he said something like that, right? He didn't disappoint, but I thought he did disappoint today. He just didn't seem smooth. He seemed even like he was almost hurt. Like after every route he ran, he kind of seemed to come up, he was limping a little bit or something.
I think so too.
Yeah.
He didn't look sharp today.
No. And if that's the case, if he tweaked something, then, my hats off to him for sticking it out and finishing all the drills. But yeah, he didn't look too sharp today.
Yeah, for sure. I remember when they were talking about him making some money, they showed about 5 highlights where he caught the ball, but probably the rest of them, I don't think he caught them.
Exactly.
So he looked good in the highlights.
Yeah, he did.
Combine highlights, but after that, he was probably 50-50, and that can't happen in the combine.
No.
You can't be 50-50.
Yeah, he didn't look sharp. I'll give you an example.
He did get some bad throws.
Yeah, so last year, not last year, a couple years ago, the CeeDee Lamb, the Ruggs, that wide receiver
Jerry
group.
Jeudy.
So Ruggs pulled up lame right after he ran his 40, so he didn't get to compete.
Yeah.
But CeeDee Lamb, he kind of, through all the combine drills, he kind of elevated himself. He looked better than every receiver there.
Yeah.
And I was kind of expecting that from Garrett Wilson or Burks.
Yeah.
But neither one of them did that.
We didn't have the type of guy today.
No.
I don't think.
There was a lot of good wide receivers.
Solid wide receivers.
A lot of good.
Where you're like, wow, we can get some good wide receivers in the later rounds.
Yeah.
But you're not looking at a guy with our pick saying for sure we need him.
Yeah. Well, I think since we're picking 22, if we're still need a wide receiver after free agency and all that, I'm feeling pretty good that there's going to be a good wide receiver there. But again, nobody really stood out.
Yeah.
Separated themselves from anybody else.
I think there was a couple of guys today, though, a couple of guys we mentioned already, that, especially Christian Watson, I liked him, but that he can be better than Brian Edwards. Already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he seems more explosive.
Yeah, for sure. A couple guys look more explosive, look like they can really compete. Obviously, first-year wide receivers is tough.
Yeah.
It's tough sometimes.
Yeah.
But we got a new coach like Josh McDaniels that I think can make that process easier.
Yeah, he's going to get those guys involved. And another guy that, since we're talking about how Burks didn't kind of live up to the hype for us, Another guy that I was really high on, maybe a lot of people don't know who he is, but David Bell out of Purdue.
Yes. He ran a 4.65.
Yeah. I kind of felt like if he ran a 4.5, then he was going to be in that late first round conversation. He ran slow in the 4.65, like you said.
I don't think he had a good day either.
No, even on the field, he was just okay. He just looked like middle of the pack. But if you watch his tape, I mean, he's pretty good. Like he has great hands. He's good at run after the catch, and he's probably the most balanced wide receiver in this draft. What I mean is like when you think he's hit and he's going to go down, he stays up. You think he's going to go out of bounds, he can toe that line and stay in bounds. He's pretty impressive, and so I was kind of looking forward to seeing him today, but he disappointed.
Just a little bit, huh?
Yeah, he disappointed.
Because I was looking out at him too because you were telling me about him.
Yeah.
But he started off the day bad, and he didn't really progress or elevate his game once he got onto the field, because you never know. Because he could have went out and still showed out. You didn't need to run a great 40 today to go out on the gauntlet, run your fades, run your slants, run your deep balls, and look amazing.
Yeah.
Because there's no guys that stood out on the field today.
No. They all kind of there were a lot of good players,
but they blended in.
Yes, everybody blended in with each other.
There's not one guy where you're like, ooh, we need him.
yeah, there wasn't that guy.
So now,
and even I'm sorry to cut you off, but even like Olave, he started off strong.
Yeah, with the 4.39.
But it seemed like he wasn't in every.
Olave looked like he was skipping some turns.
Some of the drills. Yeah,
some of the drills.
Yeah,
like just picking and choosing what he's going to do.
Yeah, because
at what times?
I mean, unless some random reason we were just missing him, every time on the camera or something, he just seemed like every now and then he would show up. So I kind of didn't like that. If you're going to compete, go compete. You know what I mean?
And we'll talk about a little bit about some quarterbacks later. Now that we've talked about the wide receivers for a while now, they probably got a good understanding of what we got a little bit here. Who are your top 3 wide receivers from today?
Man, that's the top 3 wide receivers. I'm still going to say Olave, even though I was a little disappointed that he didn't participate in all the drills.
When he did compete, he looked solid.
Yeah, he looked smooth. He was fast. I combine that with what I've seen on tape. He's legit. I really liked Christian Watson, who we touched on,
North Dakota State.
Yeah, I liked him. And then I would say my third guy, for some reason, man, that Tolbert from South Alabama kind of.
Yes, he did catch our eye.
He kind of kept standing out to me. He just never seemed like he dropped the ball. He seemed like he ran crisp routes. He had a solid 40 time. His frame, he's looked solid.
And unlike Olave, I felt like Tolbert was taking extra reps.
Yeah.
It felt like he was on the field a lot.
Yeah, he was. And then, so you said 3. So I'm just going to leave it at that 3 right there.
I mean, if I'm going to throw in a wild card or throw in an extra person, I'll probably say Alec Pierce of Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah. He looked good,
too. He had a great day, too.
Yeah, he did.
With a 4.33, bigger guy. 6'4", you said?
Something like that. 6'3", 6'4".
6'3", 6'4". Yeah. Bigger dude. And he went out and competed, and he made all the plays.
Yeah, he did. He did good. He showed up.
Yeah, now moving on to tight ends. Obviously, the Raiders have Darren Waller, Foster Moreau, but you never know what direction the Raiders are heading with general manager Dave Ziegler and head coach Josh McDaniels. Looking at these tight ends, I saw a couple that impressed me. Who do you think was your main guy today?
Well, I think the kid, McBride, is that his name, McBride, out of Colorado?
Colorado State.
Yeah, Colorado State. So
he set himself apart.
So Daniel Jeremiah kind of hyped up Dolcich.
Greg Dolcich from UCLA.
He kind of hyped him up. But most people have McBride as the number 1 tight end.
Yeah.
He didn't run the 40 today, so I'm sure he'll do that at his pro day, and we'll see how fast he is.
Yeah.
But he was smooth. He was smooth
throughout.
Yeah, he was smooth. He looked good. I mean, he ran effortless. He ran good routes. He has great hands. He was on the blocking, which was pretty cool. And the tight ends, they have the blocking sled, so you can kind of see some of these guys, their technique and their strength. And he was solid. He was solid. He was solid on that.
Moving his legs.
Yeah.
Riding through.
Yeah.
I thought he definitely had a great day.
Yeah.
He definitely separated himself. I graded him as an A+ in blocking. I thought he did a great job in the gauntlet, too.
He did good.
going back to Greg Dolcich, like you said, Daniel Jeremiah was hyping him up all day.
Right.
All day.
Yeah. Him and Dolcich's agent, they must be buddies or something.
Yeah. and I wasn't impressed.
Yeah.
I thought there's I think there's 4 wide receivers I thought was better than him.
Tight ends.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So
4 tight ends better than him.
I agree with you. Dolcich just seemed like middle of the pack. You know what I mean? He seemed middle of the pack.
Yeah. He didn't separate himself.
No.
McBride separated himself.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go on to a guy from Virginia running a 4.61. Big dude, Jelani Woods.
Yeah, I think he's like 6'7" or something like that.
6'7", running a 4.61.
Yeah.
He ran a better time than Dolcich.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. I'm not really too familiar with him. We're gonna have to go back and watch some tape on that guy. But he looked tall, athletic. He looked strong. He looked like he was pretty physical when he was blocking on that sled. He stood out a little bit.
Used to be a quarterback.
Yeah,
which is really impressive.
That's impressive. He's an athlete.
Yeah, he's a big dude, athlete. He definitely impressed me today.
Yeah.
Jelani Woods would be a guy, if we get him later in the draft, I'll be really pumped up about him.
Yeah.
Another guy I want to talk about is Isaiah Likely from Coastal Carolina. He really impressed me today.
Yeah, that guy, he kind of looked the part, right?
Yeah.
He looked the part. He looked like an NFL player.
Uh-huh.
When your team's getting off the bus, you want Likely getting off the bus first. So, you know what I mean? He's like that guy. And he did pretty good. I mean, he looked pretty smooth in his routes. He looked like he had really strong hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I gave him an A in the gauntlet.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. He didn't run the 40 though.
No, he did not.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about that.
And he blocked pretty good too as well.
Yeah, he did.
But Likely did look fast while doing the drills.
Yeah, he did.
And that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, he looked explosive.
In the combine.
Yeah, he looked good.
Yeah, he looked pretty good today. I think another guy you really liked was Daniel Bellinger from San Diego State, running a 4.63.
Bellinger kind of reminded me of when Foster Moreau was at the combine. He just did everything good, just everything solid. You know what I mean? He ran. He looked smooth. He looked like an athlete when he was running. The gauntlet, he did well. He ran good routes. He didn't drop any passes. He just looked like a good, solid overall, good, solid tight end. A guy that you can get in the mid rounds, and he's going to be in the NFL for 10 years. That's the kind of guy he looked like to me.
Yeah, another couple guys that looked solid today was Connor Hayward from Michigan State and Peyton Hendershot from Indiana. They look pretty solid today as well.
Yeah, Hayward, smaller guy.
Hayward's a smaller guy. His brother was there.
Yeah.
His brother plays with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right. So Hayward's smaller guy. I think he's 5'11" or almost 6 foot or something. But he looked smooth in everything he did.
The athlete.
Yeah, of course. He looked athletic. Of course, that size of a tight end, you're going to have to be creative of what you're doing with him.
Yeah, but he looked like a football player.
Yeah, he does. He does. Maybe he's a guy that plays multiple positions.
Yeah. Going into it,
yeah,
I was like, man, this guy's I don't know about him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to get drafted or get picked up even.
Yeah.
But he ended up showing out. I thought he separated himself from the bunch, especially being a smaller guy.
Exactly. Yeah, his size, he didn't blend in with these other big guys. But then when you see him on the field, you can see why he was invited to the combine.
Yeah.
He was solid.
Yeah, he impressed me pretty solid. And then Peyton Hendershot from Indiana.
Yeah, Hendershot, he was another guy that just kind of seemed like he did everything pretty well.
Yeah, he just looks like a tight end.
Yeah, he does.
A tight end.
Yeah, he's that type.
And then we talked about, how do you say his name? Okonwa?
Okonkwo or
I don't know.
Okonkwo.
Okonkwo from Maryland. Started off the day hot.
Okonkwo, yep.
4.52, running a fastest 40 out of any tight end in the 2022 NFL Combine.
Yes.
And like we said earlier, I thought it was going to be a great day for him. And he ended up looking very shaky.
Yeah.
And he looked like if he had a good day on the field, he can be up to a first-round pick.
Yeah.
But I think he probably dropped himself to later rounds or even getting picked up.
Yeah. Well, it's probably before your time, but back in the day, Vernon Davis, tight end, he blew it up at the combine, and he elevated his stock. I think he ended up being a first-round pick. But so this guy, he gets off to the hot start, and I'm thinking, oh, here goes Vernon Davis all over again. This guy's going to show out here at the combine. But it was all downhill from Okonkwo. You know what I mean? He looked shaky. He just looked, as fast as he was in his 40, he looked like he was maybe the slowest guy in all the drills.
Yeah, it was a tough day for him.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right. Got the tight ends. Who are your top 3 tight ends for today before we move on to the quarterbacks?
Okay, so you already said it. Bellinger, I thought, was one of my favorites.
For sure.
And then I would have liked to see McBride run that 40.
Yeah, me too.
But he didn't. But I'm going to throw him in there anyways because he looks so smooth. And then the other ones, it's
Jelani Woods and Isaiah Likely are the two. We'll just put him at 3.
I'll put Woods ahead of Likely
just because of how like freakish he looks.
He's 6'7". He looked good.
Yeah.
And he did run the 40. You know what I mean? And so you know what his time is.
Yeah, but don't forget the name Isaiah Likely. He looked very good today.
Yeah, he did.
Moving on to the quarterbacks, I was pretty impressed with some of these guys. Who impressed you the most today?
I thought that...
Oh, first of all,
okay,
let's talk about phase 1
of
the quarterbacks. So it's 2 phases. Phase 1 of the guys, or group 1.
Yeah, group 1.
Only 2 of them ran the 40-yard dash.
Yep.
And as a fan who wants a quarterback that competes, it kind of like dropped their stock for me that they didn't run the 40.
Right. Yeah,
like they're not competitors.
Yeah,
they're not competing out there.
Yeah,
you want to invite to the combine that you dream of, like you said earlier, and you don't run the 40.
Yeah,
almost all of them, like 5 to 7 of them.
Yeah,
that was disappointing.
If you're a football player and you're a young football player, you're growing up, you're watching the combine, and you're telling yourself, someday I'm gonna go compete at the combine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run the 40. I want to see how fast I can run. Mm-hmm. And then now you get there, and you're not going to participate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a little frustrating. I mean, if Tom Brady, the greatest of all time or whatever, can go out and he knows he's not going to run good, but he still runs, and you can too.
Yeah, right? I agree. 100%. I agree. You got to go out there and compete.
Yeah. So now, after talking about that, let's talk about some of your favorite quarterbacks of the day.
So we're going to get into talking about the quarterbacks. So my favorite I thought Desmond Ritter had a good day.
Yeah, he ran fast.
He ran fast.
4.52.
He threw the ball well. He was pretty accurate.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, he was pretty accurate. He was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Malik Willis showed off his arm strength.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That impressed me.
Yeah, so that's what you got to do when you get out there, And who else impressed me? Another guy that impressed me that he's not going to go, round 1 or 2, but a mid-round guy is the kid from Notre Dame.
Jack.
Yeah, Cohn?
Jack Cohn.
Yeah. So Cohn, he looked solid. He looked legit.
He looked pretty good too.
Yeah, he looked like if you would have told me that, if you'd have switched Kenny Pickett and Cohn and said that Cohn was the top rated quarterback and Pickett was the mid-round guy, I would have believed it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because
Cohn looked good. He's a guy that I was like, I wouldn't mind the Raiders picking.
Yeah,
he'd be a good backup quarterback, and
he looks solid. He looks solid, and I saw him play.
Taller guy too.
Yeah, I saw him play one of the postseason game, like a
Shrine game.
The Shrine game, I think it was, and he looked good. He looked solid. But so those 3 guys kind of stood out to me that maybe raised their stock a little bit today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought Bailey Zappi from Western Kentucky. I thought he had a solid day.
Yeah, he looked good.
A little bit impressive. I thought Carson Strong, the first couple throws he was shaky, but finished strong.
Yeah,
Carson Strong has a strong arm.
Yeah, he's just a pure pocket passer.
Yeah,
right? Big guy. And you're right. He was shaky with his first few throws, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's blowing it."
Yeah.
But at the end, especially when they were throwing deep balls, he showed off his arm.
Yeah,
that's what he's known for.
In an NFL where today a deep ball means the most.
Yeah, he did pretty good.
Yeah, and then now the rest of these guys, I would say there's only a couple of them didn't do too good today, and I'll say Sam Howell, North Carolina. I wouldn't say he didn't do anything good. Didn't do too much bad, but when you go to the combine, you're looking to improve your stock, raise your stock. And I don't think he did that today.
No, he was just blended in. You know what I mean? He blended in. He didn't stand out, like you said. He didn't do anything bad, but he didn't do anything to elevate himself to say, "Hey, I'm the number 1 quarterback."
Yeah. The next guy is Kenny Pickett. A lot of people are hyping him up, but I really didn't. He didn't impress me.
The glove, Kenny, the glove Pickett.
He didn't impress me though.
No, he was kind of the same as Howell. You know what I mean? They were both solid. They were both okay, but they were this. All the middle tier quarterbacks.
Yeah,
they kind of blended in with them. You know what I mean? They didn't really stand out.
I thought his arm looked weaker today out of all the guys too.
Yeah, he was. I don't know if he just underthrew some, unintentionally. Yeah, but on the deep balls, he did underthrow a few guys.
Yeah, maybe didn't know the speed of some of those wide receivers.
Yeah. But in that situation, you'd rather overthrow them than underthrow them.
For example, Malik Willis was just overthrowing it.
Yeah, you get
just
to
show off your arm.
Yeah, it's a chance to show off your arm. If you can throw it out of the stadium, throw it out of the stadium.
They're not going to blame you.
No.
They're going to blame the wide receiver.
Yeah.
Why did you get there?
Yeah.
That's about it. So we talked about you already mentioned your top 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. So day 1 was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Day 2 tomorrow.
Day 2 tomorrow. It's what's tomorrow? The running backs.
Running backs. Who
offensive
else?
linemen?
Running backs, offensive linemen, and I'm not sure who.
It might be special teams.
I think it might be special teams.
Yeah.
And then we got defense going day
defense
after.
on the weekend.
Yeah.
So tomorrow's going to be fun because just like the Raiders need wide receivers, we need offensive linemen.
Yep.
So that's going to be cool to watch.
Look at those guys.
Yeah, I like to watch to see how, are they? There's some big guys, but how good of athletes are they?
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
and we'll see. It starts with the 40.
Yep, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it should be fun tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Go Raiders!
Go Raiders!